Hello and happy halfway through the year, although it's now like July 15th, so we're a little bit past that. I wanted to do the mid-year freakout tag, and I'm going to title the video that. However, I don't love the term freakout. I think it's a little insensitive, especially for those with mental health illnesses. I am going to refer to this as the mid-year check-in, or the mid-year book check-in, reading check-in. I'm going to title the video the Mid-Year Book Freakout just because that's the title that everyone knows, but just know I don't love that title. So, the one that I am using is a mixture of a tag created by Chami, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Their username is that Chami, but they no longer have a channel. And then Tia at Tia Chu and Pat, which is Book Chat with Pat 8668. I am doing bits and pieces from all of their tags. This is inspired by my new friend Stuart Griffin. That's his username on YouTube. He did these questions and I liked the variety that he had, so I'm going to do those questions too. So the first one is the best book that you've read so far in 2025, and right off the bat, without looking at my list, I think I would have to go with Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I read that back in January or maybe early February, and I have not stopped thinking about it all year long. There were quite a few other good ones. A runner-up would be Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. I read both of those in June, I think. And then Hula by Jasmine Iolani Hawkes is probably in my number 2 spot. Two other runner-ups would be Bat Eater and Other Names for Corazane by Kylie Lee Baker and The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. Man, I have too many good books that I read this year. Another runner-up would be This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. I usually really enjoy her books, and this one hit close to home for me. The second question is the best sequel you've read so far in 2025. I've started a lot of series this year, so this might be pretty easy to pick. I don't think I've read many sequels. Most of the sequels I've read this year haven't been that great. I read all of the Bright Falls series this year, so I guess the second two books in that series could qualify for this answer. Those are Iris Kelly Doesn't Date and Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. I liked both of those about the same. I think I gave them both 4.5 stars. And then I did really like A Court of Silver Flames. I did not enjoy Akatar, the rest of the books, at all. Like, they were all 3 or 2 stars for me now that I'm looking back. And also, I don't really want to advertise Sarah J. Maas on my channel anymore. I've heard some pretty concerning things about her political opinions and what she puts her money towards. So I'm just going to read the books that I have from her, and I probably will say, yeah, I read them, but not give a review in the future. So just fair warning for that. But A Court of Silver Flames did make me cry. So there is a sequel that surprised me. So I read The Kiss Quotient, I think sometime last year, and then this year my library book club read the sequel, The Bride Test, and I was pleasantly surprised by how much more I enjoyed The Bride Test than I did The Kiss Quotient. So it still wasn't great, like I didn't give it 5 stars or anything, but it was a significant improvement from the first book for me. Right, question 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to. I have a few. So, First Time Caller by B.K. Borison is one that I really want to read. And then I have A Curse Carved in Bone and Great Big Beautiful Life and One Golden Summer. Those are all new releases that I bought this year and haven't gotten to yet. I'm really excited for all of them. Really upset I haven't gotten to them yet. I have one right next to me too. So I was bad I got an aardvark book this month, and I've been waiting for this one for over a year. Like, I was ready to pre-order it because it came out on my birthday last year or the year before, but then they pushed the date. So when I saw Aardvark had it, I decided just to get it. Because I don't have the first one, so it doesn't matter if it matches in hardcover or not. I'm really excited for this one. I think those are probably the biggest ones. I've already read a good chunk of the new releases that I've bought this year. I guess Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, I haven't finished it yet, but I've started it. I'm also very excited for that. I'm like 50 pages in, or 100 pages in maybe. And I really loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and this is giving me the same vibes. So I am very excited to read that one. Our next question is my most anticipated book for the second half of 2025. I don't actually know. I haven't been keeping up with it that well. But I know I have a spreadsheet of pre-orders and stuff. So let me go look at that and see what I've got. Okay, so right off the bat, I don't think that this is happening this year because it still doesn't have a title. And there's been like no announcement, but supposedly we were getting the second Amina Al-Sarafi book this year. It's supposed to come out on September 25th, but there's no other information available yet. So I'm gonna assume it's getting pushed back. But I'm really excited for that one when it finally does come out. And then I don't really have much else that I don't already have that's coming out. On this spreadsheet, I have The Enchanted Greenhouse, which I did order. That's by Sarah Beth Durst. I have not read the first one yet. So I can't like officially say that I'm excited for it since I haven't read the first one and I don't know if I loved it, but it sounds like something I'd really enjoy. And then I also have in October Nowhere Burning by Catriona Ward, but I also haven't read anything by Catriona Ward yet. My husband has, and that's why I bought the book, because I know that he loves it and he's excited for it. But I haven't read it yet. And then the only other ones I have for the second half of the year right now are Plain Ice by Rachel Harrison, another author I haven't actually read from yet, The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia, yet another one I haven't read from yet, and then What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher. But I haven't even read the second one of that series yet, so like I am excited for these. I wouldn't have put them in the spreadsheet if I wasn't, but I don't know that I'm even going to read any of them this year. So I don't really have a good answer for this one right now. I have not been keeping up to date with the new releases. So let's move on to the next question. The biggest disappointment of 2025. I think I'm going to have to go with A Scatter of Light by Melinda Lowe. I really, really, really loved Last Night at the Telegraph Club. Like, it was an all-time favorite book for me. And then I read A Scatter of Light last month, and it unfortunately, it's not bad. It wasn't a bad book. It just was not what I wanted it to be. It was not giving me what Last Night at the Telegraph Club gave me. And because of that, I did not have nearly as good of a time with the book as I did with the other one. Then moving on to question 6. The biggest surprise of 2025. I want to say Sandwich again because I picked that up at the library without knowing anything about it and was very surprised that it became my favorite book. Then question 7 is a favorite new author, either a debut or a new to you. I kind of want to say Catherine Newman, but I've only read one book from her this year, so I don't know that I can call her an all-time favorite yet. I have a second book from her that I'm going to read this month, but I don't think I can say that about her yet. I did enjoy Ashley Herring Blake. And Kylie Lee Baker surprised me. So when I started reading Bat Eater, I didn't realize that this was the same author as Keeper of Night. And I read that one maybe like 2 years ago. and I thought it was pretty good, but I listened to it, so I don't remember a ton because I was listening and doing other things and I wasn't that invested in the book. But I do remember liking it. And it sounds like Kylie Lee Baker is going to put out more horror, and I remember a lot about Bad Eater, even though I listened to that one too. So she has the potential to become a new favorite author. And I think that's probably the answer I've got, because the rest of these authors that I really enjoyed, I've only read one book from them so far, so I don't feel comfortable calling them a favorite author yet. Moving on to question 8. I think I'm actually gonna. Maybe not. It's your newest fictional crush. And this might be the male love interest in the book I'm currently reading, which is Love and Other Conspiracy Theories. I like him so far, but I'm not that far into it, so that might not be a good answer. I could also see it being The Man in Savor It by Tara DeWitt. I just read this one and I liked him quite a bit. He was a chef, but I don't remember his name, so I don't know what that says about my fictional crush. The synopsis says his name is Fisher Long, or Lang, and he is a chef. Yeah, I liked the way he was written and the way that he treated the main character, Sage. So, if I had to give an answer, it'd probably be that. I don't develop crushes on fictional characters that much anymore, so there's not a lot to pick from for that. My new favorite character, that one might be a little tough, because I have so many that I love. It might be Dusty from Wild and Ringgold. I really liked him, and I really liked his relationship with his mom. Or it could be Laka from Hula. I don't know why I said it that way. I really loved getting to see her story, and I loved seeing the way that she reacted and the way that she treated her family. So she's another good character. And then I also read We Solve Murders, and while that isn't a new favorite book for me, I did really like the two main characters, the woman who was a bodyguard and her father-in-law who was like an ex-detective. I really loved their dynamic and the way that they were written, and I loved the way that the female main character, I can't remember their names, I'm really sorry, I'm bad with names. I loved how independent she was. Even though she was married and had a relationship and she appreciated what that gave to her, she also continued on with her own life, you know. I have another one. The woman in Convenience Store Woman, her name is Kiko. I really loved her too. I loved how she went through this journey of figuring out that actually what she was already doing and what people kept telling her she shouldn't be doing as an adult was her calling and what she wanted to continue doing for the rest of her life. I love that she ended up going back to it and not letting other people influence her. And I think that's probably a good enough answer for that. I think I've picked like 5 characters at this point. Oh, another honorable mention for favorite character is Princess Donut from Dungeon Crawler Carl. I think she is hilarious, and I'm glad that that author thought to put a talking cat in the book. So, we'll wrap up, we'll have that be the last answer for that question. Question number 10 is a book that made me cry. Sandwich made me cry. A Quarter of Silver Flames made me cry. Were there other ones? This Book Will Bury Me made me cry. It talked about dead dads right off the bat. I don't remember if The Favorites made me cry, but it was pretty emotional for me. Happy Place made me cry a lot. Happy Place by Emily Henry. I don't think I've talked about that one yet. Yeah, there might have been more, but those ones definitely made me cry. Bat Eater made me cry. It was more because of the COVID references rather than the story, although the story also was very dark. Something very recently made me cry. I think Witchcraft for Wayward Girls may have made me cry, and Savor It made me cry. And then Iris Kelly Doesn't Date also may have made me cry. I can't remember for sure. So quite a few books this year have made me cry. I don't know if that's more telling about the books or more telling about me being in touch with my emotions. I don't know. Let me know if you cried at any of those books, and maybe we can do a little bit of an experiment and run some statistics on whether it's the book or me. That was the reason I cried. Books that made me happy. Most of those books also made me happy. I remember, I don't know if I would use the word happy to describe the feeling I had when I was reading Happy Place, but there's a scene in that book that I still think about months later. It's when, if you've read the book, it's towards the middle, so this isn't really like a spoiler. It's just something that happens in the middle. They go to the movies together as a group, and then there's a scene after they've gone to the movies where they've all taken like weed gummies and they go out to the carnival together and they're like riding the rides and playing the games. And for some reason, the way that Emily Henry wrote that scene gave me so much nostalgia, and it really did something for me. And I still think about that scene all the time, like at least weekly, if not daily. And Savor It made me happy, but it was also kind of lacking. Like I felt like it was missing something that would have made it a lot better, and I can't put my finger on what it was. So I'll just leave it at that. It made me happy, but it wasn't as good as Happy Place. Convenience Store Woman also made me happy for different reasons. I just really liked that she got what she wanted in the end. And then Garlic and the Witch was just really cute. There wasn't much to it. It was only 150 pages and it was a graphic novel. It didn't get very deep, but it was really cute. It was a nice little read, something easy. And then A Prayer for the Crown Shy also made me happy. I ended up liking, oh, I should have said that one for the best sequel. This was the second one in a series and a duology, I think. I don't think there are going to be more, and I liked this one a lot more than the first one. And it also made me happy. So then I also read two books that qualify as like healing fiction. I don't think they're both Korean, but they might have been. The first one is Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop, and then the second one was Days at the Murasaki Bookshop. They were really good. It was just about people like working at bookstores and getting their life back onto the track that they want it to be on, and recognizing that the job they had or the life they were leading or the people they had relationships with maybe weren't necessarily what was best for them. Both of those were just really feel-good books. They weren't that deep. I do think Days at the Murasaki Bookshop was deeper and more meaningful than Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop, but they were both pretty good and left me feeling nice afterwards. Alright, moving on to the next question. My favorite book to movie adaptation. I haven't read any books that have been adapted this year, I don't think. Oh, I read Wicked. I think that's the only one that I've read that has a movie adaptation, and I haven't watched Wicked, and I don't really have plans to anytime soon. So I don't think I really have an answer for this question. I will say I read Sunrise on the Reaping, and that has an adaptation in the works, but it hasn't been made yet. And I also just didn't like Sunrise on the Reaping that much. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I had this and not The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I think I've been tainted by The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because I really didn't like that book. I hated being inside Snow's head, and I never watched the movie because I hated the book so much. So I can't say that that's like my best movie adaptation. And I also I just don't have an answer because the books that I have read that have a movie adaptation, I haven't watched and I don't want to watch. So I don't know. This one's tough. I don't know. I think the Sunrise on the Reaping movie will probably do well, like all of the other Hunger Game movies have, but I just don't see what it really added to the franchise, if I'm being completely honest, because we already got a good chunk of Haymitch's story in the original trilogy. So, to me, none of what happened was a surprise. Like, we knew he won. We knew that he lost a lot of people. We knew that Snow screwed him over. Like, we knew all of this stuff. And so while I get it that people were like devastated by this book when they read it, I also don't see how you could be devastated when you knew 99% of what was coming. So, that's just my opinion. I am happy for all the people who really enjoyed it. It just wasn't for me. And I don't know that I'm going to watch the movie when it comes out because I don't think I care. I think I would rather just continue to watch the original trilogy. And, well, I guess it's a quartet when they turned it into a movie, but I think I'm just going to keep watching those. Yeah, I don't know what else to say with this question. My favorite video this year, I don't know if this means my favorite video that I've posted or my favorite video that I've watched. But I'm not coming up with a favorite video that I've watched right off the bat. I really enjoy watching Stephanie Bookish, JYT Creative Space, my friend Jenny, and I also recently found freshly read books through the Herkyed reading challenge. I really like her videos. I think the favorite video that I've made would probably have to be either my Evernight reading blog or my Romantasy-a-thon reading blog. I had a good time filming and editing both of those. Question 14 is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. That one's gonna be kind of hard. The cover for Witchcraft for Wayward Girls is pretty cool. It has like a lava lamp on it. I don't know that I would consider it pretty or beautiful, but it like is really pleasing to the eye for me. And then I do really love the covers of this series. They're really cute. I think those are probably it. Yeah, the other ones I'm thinking of I got last year, so those don't count for this question. What book do I need to read before the end of the year? There's a lot. I have my 25 and 25. I have what's left of that. So I still need to read, 2 Outlander books because I didn't read Voyager last year. And I put the next one on my 25 and 25, so I need to read Voyager and Drums of Autumn. Need to finish Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. In the Lives of Puppets, Silent Spring, A Little Life, Grown, Wilder Girls, The Bromance Book Club, Practical Magic, Writers and Lovers, and The Committed. So I am at 56% of that challenge completed, which is pretty good for being in the middle of July. I've read 14 of the 25 books, and I do think I'll be able to finish that. I need to finish the 25 and 25, what I just told you, and then I also have the goal of reading all my book box books. I don't think I'm going to get to all of them, especially not the Book of the Month books, but I would really love to get through all of my Illumicrate books and all of my Fairy Loot books and knock those 2 out, and then at least make some progress on the Owlcrate books, because I have, I think 26 of those books. And I'd also really like to get through the NPR's Best Books of 2024 stack that I have left. I have read a couple of them, so I've started working on those. And I have like audiobooks on hold for a lot of these books so that when they come in and I need something to listen to, I can just pop one of them on and make my way through. I No, I'm not going to get to all of them. I know that's just probably not going to happen, especially with how many things I like to read from the library. I am trying to prioritize reading things that I own rather than borrowing, but I also want to support my library, so it's kind of hard. I also have a challenge on Storygraph that I've been putting things into as I bought them this year. It's called Read What I Buy 2025. So telling. And I, according to this, have read 13 of the 43 books that I've bought this year. I don't think I have quite all of the books that I bought this year in here, but I do have like all of the special editions. So all of those stacks that I just told you about are counted in here. And I have been making some good progress on that. I don't need to finish these by the end of the year. I just want to have finished the books by the time they've been on my TBR for a year, so I'm not doing great, actually. Some of the ones that I put on here from like January and February I still haven't read, so I need to get going on those, so I'm not scrambling to read them in December. But otherwise, I've been doing a pretty decent job. I've read most of the books that I've pre-ordered this year. I think the only one I have left is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I think that's the only one that I've pre-ordered and haven't finished that I've gotten so far. Then the 16th question is to tag others. So if I tagged you in this, you don't have to make the video. I'm not going to force you to, but I would love to see what your check-in is if you haven't already done one. And if you don't want to do one, that's cool. Just ignore my tag. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I do want to go through a few goals that I have restructured a little bit since going through all of my stats and stuff. My goals for the second half of 2025, most of these pertain to reading. I want to have less than 400 unread books on my TBR. So right now, my total unread is 462. So that means I need to read 62 books by the end of the year, or actually 63, and I can't buy anymore. And I don't think that this spreadsheet has the stuff that I bought in the last like 2 weeks, which is these 2 aardvark books. So I'm gonna have to do some unhauling, which I am already planning to do. I have a YA section that I know I'm gonna try a chapter of the next book in the series, and I have a feeling I'm not gonna like it. So I think I'm gonna end up getting rid of like 7 to 10 books that way. And recently I've been talking with people about classics, and I just don't think that the classics I have are gonna be for me. So I might get rid of some of those. And I might do a little purge of my nonfiction shelf too. But even if I get rid of those, that's still like 40 books that I have to read. And I know I can read 40 books in the last half of the year. The question is, will those 40 books be from my TBR or will they be from the library? So that's going to be a toss-up of whether or not I can do it. I hope I can. But if I can't, it's not a huge loss. I want to clean out my Audible list. I think I have like 10 to 15 audiobooks left on Audible, and I would like to be able to delete that app by the end of the year. But before I delete the app, I want to have at least attempted the books that I have on there. I already talked about these, but I want to finish my Illumicrate and Fairy Loot stacks and my 25 and 25. And then I still have 5 books left from my 24 and 24, and I want to finish those too. And now we can talk about a debt goal that I have. We are about to pay off one of our credit cards, and after that, the only thing we have left to pay is one. Well, that's a lie. We're about to pay off one of our credit cards. And since paying off each card before this, we've been able to make the payment each month pay off the card. So the goal is to do that with all of the cards. And I'm not going to stop using my cards because I do use the rewards that I get. Like I have a travel one, I have a Disney one that we're saving up money for a vacation with, and some other stuff. Like I use the rewards. And once this card is paid down, it shouldn't be an issue to pay it off every month. So I'm not going to stop using it. And I would like the next card to be under $6,000. Right now it's at like $13,000, and I want to have half of it paid off because we won't be paying as much on other cards, so we'll have more money left for that. And then I retallied my debt because my mom is so kindly helping us pay off my student loans. Without my student loans, we were at $46,895 last month, and we should be significantly lower than that because we have paid a significant amount to credit cards in the past month. So I would love this number to be under 35,000. I think that could be doable, although it's actually not doable. I forgot I have to add medical bills to that number, and as long as my out-of-pocket maximums are telling me the truth, I think we'll have to pay just under $10,000 for my 2 surgeries that I have to have. So if we can get it back down to 46,000 by the end of the year, I think I'll be happy. But yeah, that's my check-in for the middle of the year. I'm sorry I didn't hold up books for you to see, even though I own most of these things that I talked about. I couldn't be bothered to pull them out and carry them up because I'm still in a boot. I can walk, but it's still kind of hard. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about books, and I will see you again real soon. If you don't have anything to say, leave me a sandwich emoji for the book I couldn't stop talking about. And I hope you are having a good time wherever you are, or at least a decent time. I hope you're surviving. I guess that's a better way to put it. And I will hopefully see you in a vlog soon. I think this is the last sit-down video I have planned for this month. So, goodbye. That was weird. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. For real this time.